Welcome back to my vlog series for Mental Health Awareness Month. So far in this series, we've talked about 7 things I do to improve my own mental health, as well as a special message for young people. Today, we're wrapping up things with a special message for educators and parents. Let me start by saying this. The importance of mental health doesn't have an age cutoff. People have mental health concerns at any stage of life. But in recent years, our nation has witnessed a mental health crisis among young people. I'm going to read an excerpt by a recent article from Harvard Health. It says here, in the fall of 2021, the American Academy of Pediatrics, along with the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry and the Children's Hospital Association, declared a national emergency in child and adolescent mental health. They called for increased funding for mental health resources, as well as other actions, including more integration of mental health care into schools and primary care, more community-based systems to connect people to mental health programs, strategies to increase the number of mental health providers, and ensuring that there is insurance coverage of mental health care. I experienced this very closely in 2014. One of my close friends, Emmy, lost her son Logan to suicide. He was only 14 years old. And this came as a total shock and a wake-up call to both Doug and myself. While we were already speaking full-time, we began learning the statistics of our youth in this nation and how much they were struggling. And so we decided to head in a different direction and make it our mission to help youth. We wanted to start something that would generate awareness, compassion, and acceptance for youth. And so the PIC Crew movement was born and has now evolved into our unique Power of Path curriculum for middle and high school students. This is a pledge to Logan and all of those who feel lost and unheard. The Power of Path provides a voice to reach out, ask for help, and know that there is hope. I'll link to the Power of Path program in the caption of this video, since I think it's worth checking it out for your school or your child's school if that school includes grades 6 through 12. But now let's keep reading from that Harvard Health article. The author lists 8 proven things that parents can do to help young people during this mental health crisis. Now, while the article is directed at parents, I do think that teachers, coaches, and other people who work with youth can benefit greatly from this advice. So the first one is to accept the fact that mental health is just as important as physical health. It says here in the article, if a child has a fever or a persistent cough, parents react. They pay attention and reach out for help. But if a child seems sad or irritable or less interested in activities that they used to enjoy, they tend to think of it as a phase or teen angst or something else that can be ignored. Untreated mental health problems interfere with learning, socialization, self-esteem, and other important aspects of child development that can have lifelong repercussions. So pay attention and take care what you see seriously. If your child is showing signs of anxiety or depression, call your doctor. Don't put it off. If your child talks about harming themselves or others, get help immediately, such as by going to your local emergency room. In this situation, it's better to overact than underreact. So the second tip is to create rituals of communication and safe spaces to talk. It's easy to lose connection with our children, it says, especially our teens. Whether it's family dinner, family game night, talking on the ride to school, or a nightly check-in before bed, having regular times to ask open-ended questions and to listen to your children is important. The third piece of advice is to make sure that your child has downtime. The article says we all need this, and children particularly need it. Be sure that they aren't overscheduled. Make sure that there is time for them to do things they enjoy. The fourth item on the list is to encourage healthy media habits. It says here, one of the things kids enjoy these days is being on their devices, which can be fun and connect them to friends, but can also contribute to problems with mental health. Talk to your child about how they use media. Common sense media has a wealth of useful information, and I'll be sure and link that below. The fifth one is to make sure that your child is getting enough sleep and some exercise. It says here that both are very important for mental health as well as physical health. Even short bursts of exercise can lessen anxiety. The sixth tip is to keep in touch with teachers, coaches, and other adults in your child's life. It says here, not only may they have information about your child that you need, but they can also play an important supportive role. Open lines of communication with them can make a difference and help to create community, which we all need, especially now. The seventh piece of advice is to try to make your home a judgment-free safe haven. Now it says here in the article, this doesn't mean that you can't and shouldn't have expectations about behavior or grades, but you can have expectations without judgment. You can and should let your child know that you love them no matter what, that they can say what they feel, and that you'll always help them. Do your best to listen more than you talk. Be empathetic and forgiving. To be genuine about that, you'll need to be empathetic and forgiving toward everyone, including yourself. And finally, the article closes with this important reminder to pay attention to your own mental health. It says here, children pay more attention to what parents do than what they say. If you're clearly struggling with anxiety or depression and aren't doing anything about it, that sends the wrong message to your children. And it also makes it hard to be a good parent. So in closing, in addition to this information from this article, I just have two more things on my heart that I'd like to share for teachers and parents as you aim to support the mental health of the young people entrusted to you. First, educate yourself. I encourage you to take a mental health first aid class or a youth mental health first aid class, which I will link in this caption. Many times it's free and it's just a great place to get resources and education around mental health. You can also explore trusted sources like save.org, I'm wearing their sweatshirt today, and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention to learn the warning signs of mental health concerns and where to go for help. And second, have open communication with your kids and students and provide them with mental health resources to educate and empower them. Our Power of Path program would be a great asset for grades 6 through 12 as it gives teachers tools to have important conversations with their students about mental health. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. Thank you for joining me and spreading mental health awareness and education.